Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Ashley, the amateur expert, coming to you live today for this episode of Talk Tuesday. Super excited to have my ween sister, my CMO, and all of the people to me on this live today. It's going to be good. I see we got some people joining. Super excited. Happy Talk Tuesday, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone is having a great day. Super excited that Affirmed Armor is launching this week. It has been a true labor of love. That is what I can say. But I'm excited that on Friday we are going to have the drop. Ah, Rara is in the room, so we can get started. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. The concept of the show is to talk to our guests about their career path, their idea of success, and the tips and motivators that they used along the way. So, our guest of the day is in the room, and so we shall get started. Hi, everyone. Well, hello there.
Hello.
Welcome to the other side. You are
Yeah.
normally very active in the comments, and so I am happy to have you
Okay
on the
now.
screen today.
It's a new territory for me. Not the
Listen.
CMO
This
tiara.
is what we're going to pin. I love it. So, I would like to welcome you all to the show. We're going to get started. We have my CMO and my ween sister, Rajani, here with us. So, if you could, my good sis, could you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and what you are doing currently for work.
So let's get right to it, right? I feel like
Jump
Ashley can
in.
introduce me better, y'all. But it's okay.
We're
Okay.
gonna let you do the honors, and if you
All
if
right.
you just so happen to miss anything, I will
Okay.
definitely fill in the gaps.
Okay. Let's do it. So, hey everyone, I'm Rajane. I am a multicultural marketing strategist. Recent grad, just got my master's, and I am an uncertified international traveler going on world tours constantly. That's about it. I do a
Um,
little bit of everything. I am the amateur expert. That is that.
Hey, okay, I feel it. I love it. Raj is also my CMO, which is amazing for Affirmed Dharma. She is wicked smart and very helpful, and y'all need to get at her. But let's go on with the show. So, Raj, when you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grew up, and why?
The funny thing is, I watch the show all the time, and you would think I would be prepared for this, but
Gosh,
being on the other side is different.
let's hear it.
I think so. Well, Ash likes to say I'm 12, so I'm still growing up, y'all.
Okay,
Um,
still in the process. But when you were like a little girl.
I think growing up, especially in like a Caribbean household, it's like with immigrant parents, it's like, all right, you're gonna be a doctor, a lawyer. I thought I was gonna be a great lawyer, to be honest. I still think so. They say Libras make great lawyers,
Oh,
but
here we go. Actually, one of my really good friends is a Libra and a lawyer. So, I mean, there could be some parallels
there's
there.
definitely, come on, like the justice scale, come
I
on.
mean, you're onto
Hey,
something.
yeah, but law is a little too, desk like office
Hmm.
type for me. I think now as I like continue, it's I always know it's creative.
Hmm.
At one point I thought I was gonna be a singer, but y'all not ready for those pipes. But
I think the people might be ready. Would you
you
like
know what?
to display something for
Listen,
us?
is Gina in here? We gotta do a little big stuff.
I love that. Okay, so you wanted to be a lawyer, or you thought about being a lawyer based on family, or just was there a TV show that you watched? Was there a teacher? Was there a lawyer that you knew? Just sort of like what drew you to being to lawyer, wanting to be a lawyer? What do you think?
I think it was like, and I think the character trait that was common is just the justice aspect of it, right? So I
Mm,
always knew I liked helping people. So at the time, I think when you're just told these are the careers that exist, you're
mhm.
just like, well, this is like the box I'm gonna fall into. So
Yep.
being a lawyer will allow you to help people, will allow you to like get justice for individuals and things like that. But like as I continue to get older and like start like noticing and learning more about other career options, obviously that shifted. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So, what was your idea of success? Like, what did you think was um, successful when you were younger? What did you think it meant to be a success?
Hmm. I think I'm still struggling with that question, right? I think growing up, success meant like the accolades, right? So checking the box, making your parents proud, um, just more so. I think like society teaches us that success is to be known, kind of
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
allowing people to, if you're known, you're successful, right? And the metric is influence. But like now, like I'm just like I'm learning like that's not success to me. Like
Hmm.
everyone knowing who you are and what you do is not success for me. Like that's not it at all.
But I think that makes sense because since you were younger, you wanted to help people, right? And so that seems to be someone to me who wants to be behind the scenes, which you do very well. Um, so talk to me about your educational journey. You are degreed, you are certified. Tell me why you chose your major, and what you thought that would help you do, or like what was that thought
Yeah.
process like?
So I think the educational journey, I'm gonna take it back.
Let's go.
So I started undergrad at 16, going on 17.
Smart,
So,
smart.
I think it's a little bit of both. Like I always had the drive. Like I knew, going back to your question of success, like I always
Hmm.
felt like to be successful, I needed to get out of the environment that I was in, right?
Hmm.
So growing up to immigrant parents, like it was just always like, all right, you just gotta do your thing. Like my family's from Guyana, and it was just kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna mind my business, and to be successful means to go to college because they never went to college,
Right.
right? So at 16, when growing up in New York City, when I didn't have opportunities, I've always had a mindset of like things aren't just handed to you, right? Like, and you have to make use of the tools and resources you have.
Exactly.
So at 16, when I was at a high school with limited resources, no AP classes, none of that, instead of just falling into the system essentially and just using my circumstances as a cop out, I was just like, let me work harder. So
Hmm.
I graduated a year early from high school and like always been grinding from a young age.
Same,
So I
same.
graduated a year early, and that was partially due to having people that believed in me, having people
Hmm.
in that environment that were just like, well, you could do so much more than this. And that's why I do think it's important, like especially like for us to tell kids and show kids like other examples of like this is like you can be successful beyond what is shown to you in these four walls,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So that's really like that was a very pivotal point in my journey where I
Hmm.
had someone that was just like, you don't like you're not, for lack of a better word, but like more than this. You don't have to
Hmm.
settle for this.
Yeah.
And then me growing up I'm the youngest of five, none of my siblings went to college, like finished like college at the time, or went away to college. So
Hmm.
now I have people that are just like my world, the opportunities that I knew existed. Like I never knew about going away to college or none
Right.
of that, right?
Right.
It was just, all right, your parents immigrated. So that in itself is a success. They're here in the US.
Hmm.
So you going to
Yeah.
college, even if it's community college, they don't have the tools or resources to
Yeah.
tell you and guide you like, all right, here's a private institution, a state institution, a community like they don't even understand that world, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because they never even like graduated high school. So
Hmm.
it's just like so from there on, I had people telling me these are the different things, these are the opportunities that exist. I went away to college, went to the University of Albany. If everybody's on here, y'all know UA, but University of Albany for undergrad at 16, going on 17. Um,
Girl.
and I'm just always like, when I set my mind to something, I was gonna do it. So going back to like success, like I knew I could only be successful if I left the environment I was in. That's
Love it.
how I felt. Um, so I went to University of Albany, went in undecided. Undecided. I was just like, all right, so what I'm gonna do is take these gen eds and explore.
That's it.
um, and then that was the best thing I could have done. the end of my freshman year, I declared myself a globalization studies major. Yeah. So,
And why? What led you there?
so U Albany had a globalization major, which was pretty new, and I just really liked it because it was just learning about new cultures and different
Mm,
countries, and it was like they didn't have an international relations major, but they had a
okay.
globalization studies major. So I was
Okay.
like, all right, let's see, like I'm gonna do this. Loved it, but then going back to the success, right? Society, everyone around me, like the bug was in my ear. It's like, what is a globalization major? What are
Right.
you gonna do with
What are you gonna
that?
do with that? Of
Yeah,
course.
like how can you be successful with that? So then this is where the younger Raj with the law comes in and was like, well, I've always wanted to help people. And as I sat in classrooms and like looked around, I was constantly being reminded of like I don't fit in essentially, right?
Mm, hmm.
And that there's people in higher positions that are making decisions for our community, Black and Brown people, right? So that led me to go into public policy. So then I double majored in public policy management.
Of course you did.
So I went into public policy, and for me, the whole thought process behind that was just I want to be the ones making the legislation. I'm tired of being the ones following it and complaining about it that it
Yeah.
doesn't suit us. And young naive Raj at the time is just like, but I always know I wanted to make change, right? So it was constantly a reminder though, because I would look around in my classroom at like 18, 19, and I'm surrounded by a lot of white male. And that was just like a constant reminder to me that
Yeah.
like these are the people that are setting our reforms. And society tells us we need to go into STEM.
Yeah.
We need to go into science, technology, engineering, math, right? Because these are the jobs that exist. But
Yep.
yeah, there's still a small percentage of people that are still going to the humanities and doing law and legislation and governmental work. But
Yep.
who are those people? And that for me at a young age, like I realized that. And I
They
was
need to
just
look
like,
like us.
okay. Yeah. And I was just like, how can we create change if we're not in the room, right?
Amen.
So at a young age, that's where like my thought process, my mind has always been everywhere. People
Your
that
mind
know
has always
me.
been advanced. Okay. Jeez, you were 18 making these decisions. I don't
Yeah,
even think
and
I was
then
going to class, but we're not even. This is not about me today.
so it was just like that whole thing, and then that's where like so since I was a baby, I was going to Guyana back and forth. So like traveling was always in like my spirit essentially,
Hmm.
right? The fact that I'm the only one in my family that was born like here in the US, so I'm always going back to Guyana. Um, and I think that was very like that was like one of the best things I could say for me, and it has
For
really
sure.
shaped my perspective of everything. And then now when it came to just in college, I was just like, all right, like let's try to travel. Ended up sophomore year, went to India for a month, and that was strategic. I don't know if anybody's on here that has Caribbean parents or brown parents, y'all. That was strategic. So I was like, all right, if I go to India, I can convince them I go to India.
Mm.
After that, I could go anywhere.
Yeah, for
Right? So
sure.
I was like, my parents are going to be like, oh, because my family is Hindu. And I was just like, all right, let me be strategic about this. All right. Chess, not checkers. Right.
That's it. That's
So
it.
I was like, once I go to India first, like, they'll be happy with that. I can go
The
anywhere.
world is your oyster for
Went
sure.
to India for a month. Did a whole like study like sustainable development out there. Was living in the villages, just teaching kids, the whole yeah, everything for a
Love
month.
that.
Flash forward the next year, the travel bug kicked in again,
Uh-oh.
and that's when I went to South Africa. And then I lived in Cape Town for 6 months, and that was just like that was where it was like I started really discovering and learning who I was.
Hmm.
And I was like 19, living in Cape Town.
But also, I think that this is a good point to pause for a second. And let's talk about the importance of the exposure, right? And we've
Mm-hmm.
talked about this before offline that most children um, aren't exposed to traveling even without of the state, right? And so, or they're blocked sometimes.
Yeah.
So tell me, what do you think you gained? I mean, besides exposure and having the time of your life living 6 months in South Africa, but like, why are you now such a big proponent of travel abroad?
Yeah, I think so. Going back to your point, and I mentioned this earlier, where it's just like our kids don't know what else exists, and not just kids, like our community in general. Black and brown
Hmm.
people do not travel because we have so many other challenges,
Hmm.
right? So we like traveling, we tend to look at traveling as a luxury,
Hmm.
right? Whereas my mindset is I feel like traveling should be an essential. Like that is something that allows you to just traveling allows you to really tap into who you are and learn different things about yourself that you don't even know exist.
For sure.
Like especially traveling alone, like there's different skills that like kicks in, like survivor skills and all these things. But also, like we've talked about this offline a lot, where it's just traveling allows you to experience the culture for yourself. It allows you to be the narrator of what you think that country is, your perspective of that country, as
Yeah.
opposed to what people tell you and the experiences people are going to tell you.
Yeah.
Experiencing it for yourself allows you to really see it for yourself, engage in it, and really it's just it changes your mindset, everything, and it allows you to really see and understand people more from a humanity standpoint, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
like we're all humans, as cliche as it is, right?
Uh, it's the truth. And I
That's
think
really it.
when you allow your and well, but there's also two parts to that, right? Because you can go and travel and stay on the resort and do those things,
Yeah,
right? So I think the other important part is to immerse yourself in the culture of the or in the environments that you're visiting. Um, okay, so let's go back. So
yeah,
you've lived outside of the US for quite some time. You've got some awesome experiences under your belt. And this summer, if my memory serves me correctly, you wrapped up a grad degree and certificate or two. So let's talk about that. Why did you feel the need to go back to school? What did you study and why?
yeah. So I finished undergrad in 2018, May 2018,
And
and
you were
that
12.
year, yes, yes, I was 12 actually. But I finished undergrad, and that whole year, it was just I was just like struggling to figure out like what am I gonna do? Like,
Hmm.
and usually when I'm at a crossroads, like I try to just escape, right? So that year I ended up traveling some more. Went to a few places in Europe, went to Guyana, spent some time. But then I was just kind of like, but what am I doing? Like, what's next?
Mm.
Career wise, like I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I kid you not, I don't know if she's on this live, but one of my friends literally called me one day and she was just like, let's get our masters. Right?
I love that.
It was just like, let's just get like a degree in marketing. And I was just like, that makes so much sense because in undergrad, I've always been very involved in student orgs. I was even on e-board doing marketing chair, like things like that. And I was
Yeah.
just like, I've always enjoyed being creative, but I've never really applied it. Um, I just saw Tiara's comment. Let's get an MBA. But I've always like I just go with my intuition with a lot of things. And that phone call for me was just kind of like, this is it. This is the sign.
Hmm.
And going back to what I was saying with when I'm at a crossroads when I'm frustrated, I try to escape essentially.
Hmm.
I say escape, but I'm trying to shift the narrative. I don't think it's escaping. I just think I'm being pushed into another direction.
For sure. It's time to make
Um,
a shift.
yeah, and I was just
Transition.
kind of like, I don't think New York is it right now for me. Like I was getting frustrated living at home. I moved out at 16. Like it's just like coming back
It's a
living at
hard
home.
adjustment for sure.
Yeah. It was just a lot. So I just applied to schools. Me and my friend applied to all the same schools. So we had this pact. We said we're gonna apply to all the same schools. Whatever happens, happens. If we end up in the same school together, this is what we go do. And we were very intentional when we were looking at programs.
Hmm.
We looked at programs that were cost like cost of living was like
Mm,
affordable.
of
So we
course.
were like, we wanted to go to a new state, but we also wanted to go somewhere warm. So the realty is,
This
I,
this this chess game is getting more intense. Let me lean in.
the realty is, so I applied to University of Houston. I was gonna be a Texas gal, okay?
Okay.
uh, University of Austin,
Okay.
okay, and Georgia State, just three schools. I was like, if it happens, it happens. That's it.
Hmm.
Deep down, I wanted to go to Georgia State. From the jump, I just knew, like, the thought and the idea of living in Atlanta was what was pulling me.
For sure.
I didn't know why I wanted to go to Atlanta. I didn't know none of that. I didn't know why I wanted to do marketing, first of all, either, or what I was going to do in marketing. But that's that's a whole other. We could get into that a little bit. But
Okay.
so everything just aligned. I found out I got into Georgia State. Like the first school I found out I didn't get into University of Austin, and that I didn't get into Houston. And I said, all right, listen, God, listen. If this is what it's meant to be, I was like, it doesn't even matter if I didn't get into Houston or Austin
But
because
you didn't want to go there anyways.
it was just the security blanket, right?
Hmm.
But the funny thing is, it's like I just wanted to go to Atlanta regardless. So I was putting all that energy into a plan B, whereas I knew what the plan A was from the day one.
Oh, oh, I
And I
feel
was
a word.
convincing
I
myself.
feel a word coming. I feel a word coming. Let me catch it.
Like, listen, I knew what it was from the jump, right? But the fear that like of just having that one option was like, all right, let me have a plan B. And a lot of times we do that, right? We overextend ourselves, putting like plan B, C, D, all these different options. And whereas we should be taking all that energy and just going for the plan A, putting
Definitely.
all that energy into plan A and see what happens. Because the worst is that it doesn't happen and then you move on to plan B. But a lot of times we're like, let's just have a security blanket as we're going for our dreams or our goals. And that's exactly what I did. And God was just like, listen, you're not going to Texas. You're not going to Texas. Stop playing yourself. You are not going to Texas. You're going to Atlanta. Found out I was going to Atlanta, got my acceptance letter in June. Ending of June. Never been to Atlanta a day in my life, y'all. When I tell y'all, I just go with my intuition. I'd never been to Atlanta a day in my life, but applied
Bags
to go to
packed
school,
and
right?
ready.
I was just like, all right, I'm going to Atlanta. Found an apartment online, never seen this apartment a day in my life, physically nothing. Packed my suitcases, got accepted, moved to Atlanta like the first or second week of August. So it's like 6 week. I had to get an apartment, everything. Packed my bags, pulled up to, Atlanta, pulled up to the airport. I was like, oh, this is a cute airport. But
Hold on, wait. Did your friend come with you?
to where? What do you mean?
Did you
Like,
guys both get accepted?
no, my friend is in Houston, right? Plot twist, right?
Okay, okay, okay. I thought, okay, the pack. Okay, keep going.
Right? Well, we were just like, wherever we get accepted to and whatever makes sense,
Okay, it
right?
wasn't to get. Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah. So it was just also like, what happens? Like, we'll figure it out. But it was just like,
We're going to get
these
our
are the same,
marketing degree.
like, we both were like, all right, these are the three schools that we both like.
Got
Um,
it.
Went to Atlanta, pulled up with two suitcases. My sister came with me for like the weekend. Pulled up. I literally remember this so vividly. It was a year ago, last August. Pulled up to this apartment. Pulled up to the airport. Got a rental car. Drove to this apartment. Never seen it a day in my life. Signed
Are
a
you even
lease
old enough to
online.
get a rental car?
Yes,
I'm sorry. Keep
my
going.
sister was with me. Okay,
Okay,
my
all
sister
right,
was
fair,
with
fair,
me. All
fair, fair.
right. So
Okay, sorry.
pulled up to Atlanta, went to this little apartment complex, never seen it in person, picked up the keys, and that was it. I was like, this is what we're gonna do for the next year. Like it or not, if you hate Atlanta, you hear
Wow,
this for a year. Right? Two
wow.
suitcases, walked into an empty apartment, no furniture, nothing. Had a
Okay,
rental car just for the weekend with my sister there. Went to Walmart, got everything, got a blow up mattress, and this is it. This is a new chapter. This is what we're about to do. Um, and that's just
right.
how Atlanta just happened. Like never was familiar with it. Like don't even know anyone in Atlanta at the time. No one. Like never
Wow.
visited nothing. but I've never been afraid to like move. That's one thing I'll
Yeah,
say.
I love
Like,
that.
and then my thing was also like, sis, you've lived in Cape Town for 6 months. You'll be all right. Like,
What's
what else do you
what's the
got to lose?
what's the worst that can happen? At least you're domestic. You can always just hop right back home. Take the
Right.
train, the bus. Like no bodies of water need to be crossed. Um, okay, so you're in Atlanta. You're doing this marketing thing. Tell us about some of the experiences that you had. I feel like there's a California story that needs to be shared.
So, y'all remember when I said I didn't know what I wanted to do in marketing? Went to Atlanta and still didn't know what I wanted to do in marketing, right? But I just as I said, like I let just my intuition guide me, and I pay attention to the universe, the signs the universe gives me. And it was 3, 4 weeks in, and just started my program. Like as soon as I went out to Atlanta, I started the next week. Right? I had no furniture, nothing in my apartment, and I was just like, listen, I'm about to just like I need to meet new people, right?
Mhm.
I see some people from my like tapping in from school. It's funny, but but once I was just like, all right, I need to meet new people, and the universe will have it. I said that. The next day, I'm on Instagram scrolling, y'all. Sometimes Instagram could be your friend, y'all.
I'm
Listen,
just trying to tell you, sometimes it
just
works.
just scrolling, and I see, ironically, the student association president from my undergrad posted on her story Felicia's post. Our girl V posted this flyer to volunteer at the Revolt Summit under Ween. Mind you, didn't
Wow.
know what Ween was. Didn't even know what the
Wow.
Revolt Summit was, to be honest. None of that.
Wow.
Right? This is second week of September. It's only been a month I've been out there. I was just like, I don't even know what this is, but you know what? This sounds dope. I'm gonna apply anyway.
Let's do
don't,
it.
even, don't even know who Felicia is at the time. Nothing. Like, so applied. I sent them this little form, filled it out. They're like, the next day, congrats, you've been like selected as a volunteer. I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna do this. Pulled up to the Revolt Summit in Atlanta. Didn't know what it was. Changed my life.
I love this
Changed
story.
my life completely. Just it went from I didn't even know I wanted to be in the entertainment industry. I didn't even know like this is an industry to pursue. These career opportunities existed. Even backtracking to even like Felicia, to be honest. Like the test of it is the real story is I just never even knew you could like merge those passions. Because
Mhm.
here I am with the public policy and globalization now doing marketing. And then I saw this post and I was just like, oh, this is dope. Started following Alicia's like career path, all these things. And I was just like, this is really scary. Because I started reading her book and it was just like, I moved out to Atlanta in undergrad and started chasing this entertainment
Them
dream and just
parallels. Woof.
like it was just like, whoa, what is happening? And as I'm reading her book, like I'm finding people like she's talking about like Shanti Das and all these things, and it's just like I've never seen people that look like me that are
Mhm.
doing things like this, or I never even knew careers like this existed,
Existed. Yeah.
right? So did the whole thing, went to Revolt Summit 3 days in Atlanta in the hot sun, y'all. When I tell you, Atlanta showed up that weekend. Atlanta said, listen, we gonna show up and show out in the hot sun. And I was just those 3 days that was literally just was like 2 years of experience if I'm being
Mm.
real. Right? And I've always just been very intentional and always been like I just honestly just like helping people. That was
Yeah.
it. So I showed up in that space as just, hey, you need help, like what do you need help with? It was never like I'm here because I'm trying to do entertainment and I like the entertainment industry found me. I didn't seek it.
Love
That's
that.
that's the real tea. The tea was like it was never something I pursued, but it attracted me. Didn't know what weed was, none of that. Like met Sierra Brooks, one of my favorite people in the world, Shy, like all these people, weed graduates, didn't know what weed was. And they were
Yeah.
just like, hey, like weed is this program and like this and then that was the reason I was even there, was because weed had volunteer opportunities. And the bug was just in my ear, constantly, constantly, wean, wean, wean. And I was just like, whatever, like, what
What
is
is
this?
this? Right. Yeah.
What is this? What are people talking about weed? I'm just showing up, I'm helping, life change. I went from the first day working with like some of the producers for Revolt to like the second day just like being like backstage in the VIP lounge working and like talking to and interacting with like everybody was there, like Remy Ma, like everybody, Mona Scott, Angela Yee, like every single person you could think about was there the second day. Third day wasn't on the schedule. And this is where I'm gonna tell y'all, like, show up and stay ready. Third day, I was not on the schedule, but I showed up to the summit anyway with my shirt, the volunteer shirt. And as I walked into the entrance, Sierra's walking by with the staffers bands and just gives me a band. And she was just like, here. And I was just like, I'm not on schedule. And then she was just like, oh. And I was just like, well, I'm around here anyways, right?
Right.
Like an hour later, I get a text. I need two people to help me. Lord would have it. That day was just the most craziest day of the Revolt Summit. That's when I know y'all seen the clip with Killer Mike Ti, the whole viral clips that
The
happened in the
panel,
Revolt
yeah.
Summit, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I went from not being on the schedule that day to being backstage that day, the whole day, and just being there with everybody. And the funny thing is, I was telling you how like I was reading like these books and like Shanti Das and stuff to literally having to escort Shanti Das and all these different people from backstage and everywhere, right? And it was just very like it was insane. Like I couldn't have written the chapter to be honest. Like
I
insane.
and I think that yeah, it's like super cool, right? You were backstage and doing all these things, but I think um uh the most exciting part of the story to me is that it just proves to me time and time again that when you go into things with an open heart, open mind, and with an attitude of service, that the doors are always opening for you, right? And when your intentions are pure and you just want to learn, right? You just want to
Yeah,
be a servant. And I think timing is everything, right? And I think that your connections and networking are important, and being likable, like, oh, so
yeah,
important. And I think I love hearing this story because it just exhibits all of those things,
yeah.
all of
It's
those things.
definitely. I think I went into the whole thing with just I'm just here to learn. I just like I'm just here to learn and I'm just here to just meet people, like build relationships. I'm in a new city. I don't know anyone, right? And then just going off of that, when the opportunity came like to go to LA a month later, I was just like, I'm booking this flight. Like, and it's just also like realizing and understanding that you have to invest in yourself when
Mhm.
you see the opportunity like present itself. Yeah, it wasn't aligned in terms of like financially, it was risky. I was just like, let me book a ticket. I flew out to LA. I'm in grad school, mind you, y'all. I'm in grad school as all this is happening, right? In grad school, like have finals, like, and the way my program was set up, it was like 8 weeks. So went out to LA to the Revolt Summit, went for like 2.5, 3 days, came back, got back to Atlanta that afternoon at like 3, had a final at 5:30, but it was
But
just like
you're super smart, it doesn't matter.
but just even like going back to LA, right? As you said, like show up with the attitude of like servitude, right? So
Yeah.
I'm here to serve. And that was just the mindset that I went in with. And it was the same thing. Like LA was just even like crazier because there were so many obstacles throughout. But yeah, I just kept showing up like I'm here to help, right? And I went from the night before the summit, just showing up and doing a walk through the venue and bumping into Sierra again, right? Or and then bumping into and then just saying like, hey, y'all need help, and like just things like that. So if you see somebody who needs help, just showing up, right? And that allowed me to work with Lenny S and helping him put up his whole visual exhibit. I don't know if you guys seen the LA, like the Rock Nation. They did the whole like
Mm.
exhibit at like we were just putting those up, and then just the next day at Revolt, like one of the production uh people like remembered me because I did the Be Heard auditions in Atlanta. So she was just
Ah,
like, "Hey, can you help me do this?" And it was just like, "I don't even need to explain to you what to do because you already know how to do this. Like
mhm.
we did this in Atlanta already. Just tell them what to do. Essentially, help everyone else. Like explain it to them." And it was just the same thing. And then the funny thing is like, Felicia was at the LA one.
Huh.
And it was
And
just
now you really know who she is.
now I really know who she is, right? Because it's I've been doing the work, I've been doing the
Hmm.
research, right? And it's just when you find, and it was never from a place of I want to know who this is. It was always just genuinely, I was just interested in it, right? So I just started researching people and learning because it was just like a whole new world was opened up to me. Like here are people like I never even knew existed. They're doing like really dope things. Like really, she was doing like diversity and inclusion. I was just like, that's a job? You could be doing that? Like what? Like these are
Yeah.
careers? I never knew this existed. And I just started showing up and Felicia was there and I just really believe in alignment and timing. And the funny thing is I didn't even get to meet Felicia at that summit.
Wow.
And it was just weird how that happened. Flash forward, here I am, a graduate of the Ween Academy.
Ween
Didn't even like
Academy.
wasn't even gonna apply to the Ween Academy, y'all. Like if y'all know the story, like I was not gonna apply. The morning of, I was not gonna get up. Like I was on the bed and I said, "What am I doing? I'm not even trying to do entertainment."
Wow. Wow. And here you are. Here we are.
Here we
20
are,
2020 graduates. And
Ween
I
sisters.
definitely should not have been been a graduate, but uh the way the world and the Lord saw fit, here we are. And I love that. Yeah, actually Tiara and I both were sort of like, maybe not. But this it was meant to be.
While I wasn't, the funny thing is, like COVID worked in my favor because I wouldn't have even thought about weed. Like even as people were planning the bug in my ear, like I didn't even think about it because it wasn't possible. I was supposed to be in Atlanta
Right,
until the ending of July
right,
because of my grad program.
right. That's right. And how Wien is traditionally set up, you would have had to be in New York. And
Yep.
same for me. I was out of the age range, so there's that. Um, so Raj, tell me, what is your idea of success now? Um, do you have
Mm,
a different idea of what success is now, if you don't
mm.
have like a definition?
Um, I think so. Growing up, like as I said, like I think success was like the accolades, right? The
Hmm.
influence. But like now, like for me, success is it's less of the influence and more about the impact.
Hmm.
So like I just like I'm successful if one person on this call could like remember something that helps them. Like you know what I mean? Like successful is about being able to make an impact and that impact will lead to other people being impacted to me. So it's just like being happy. Like what brings you joy? What makes you happy? Like that is success. Success is being able to influence, not being the influencer, but being able to influence people to be happy, to
Yeah,
bring joy to themselves. And success is like constantly changing too, right?
yeah,
So
as
like my
infinite.
definition of success for this week could be different. It's whatever expectations you set, right? So that's how you define success. Everybody's definition of success will differ. But for me right now, I think success is I'm trying to figure it out. I'm learning. Like I don't know what the next chapter looks like to be
Hmm.
successful because
Hmm.
I'm like closing out a chapter right now and I'm in this very like in between transitional phase right now of I just graduated, but yet we're living in a world where coronavirus is happening, right? And this time was supposed to be like the best time of my life. Society tells you
Girl.
go to college, get your degree, then you come out and you'll get a job, right? So now here I am, 2 degrees, like, and then this is the world that we exist in. So it's always staying abreast to it and just keep
Hmm.
going and like just whatever makes you happy. That's what success is, to be honest.
And so you just said keep going. So you have already shared with us that you graduated from college, I mean, from high school a year early. You double majored. You are awesome, right? And not that people who don't, whatever, I'm not explaining myself, but you are dope. Okay. I can say that confidently. And so I want to know what keeps you going, right? Because uh having a double major, like you've accomplished a lot of great things, but I am certain that it wasn't without, obstacles or strife. So, what are some of the tips and motivators that you
Mm,
used to get you where you are today?
this is a hard one, y'all. Ooh, I should be prepared for this. I I don't know if there's like a specific like tip, right? For me it's I just always know I wanna always outdo myself. Like I know that I am in competition with just myself, right? So what I accomplished, okay, I accomplished it. That's the bar. But that means I can keep going because I was able to accomplish it, right? So I think especially when you're feeling down, all those things is just like remember like what is the core of what you're trying to do? What is your purpose, right? For me, like I know I was like my purpose is to have an impact and not just an impact like I want to amplify black and brown voices, right? I want to be that person that shows kids and people in communities that they too can have opportunities and dream beyond their environment, that their environment is not just it's not just like the definition of how far they can be successful, right? And that's what we're seeing right now more than ever, especially with the digital age, right? Success transcends beyond the streets and neighborhoods that you live in. Success could be anything. Like you could be successful in a digital space and see so many more opportunities. And it's so important for us to continue to show people the other opportunities that exist. So I think to keep going, I don't even think I answered your question, but what I would say is, y'all just keep going, just every day. I know it's hard right now, right? It's hard, but
It's a
every day when you
struggle.
wake up, like, just know that you made it further than you did yesterday.
Mm.
Just keep going, and that goal, that dream, that's so like impossible, it gets it gets better, and you get closer to it with just one little step, like one little pebble at a time.
Love that. Love that. So briefly, I want to talk about your boutique
Sorry, y'all.
market.
Y'all gonna hear a lot going on. Y'all don't Teddy Riley me with this Wi-Fi. They're doing construction, so you guys are
You're
gonna hear a
fine.
lot of voices in the background. Sorry.
Yeah, everything is fine. Everything is fine. I feel like you interrupted me on purpose because you
No, I
didn't
didn't.
want
I
me to
didn't.
go.
Go
I feel
ahead.
like
Go
you didn't
ahead.
want me to go there, but I'm
No,
going there
no,
anyways.
go ahead. Start from the beginning now because I didn't hear
Oh, oh,
the.
I was. Don't you worry. So I want to talk briefly about your new endeavors, right?
Mm.
We've graduated from school. We're getting some price sheets together
Yes.
for all of the things that you've learned and can help other people with. And so, one of the things that I know you're interested in is um, being my CMO. I'm sorry. Why don't you tell us?
So I've
Why
been
don't you tell
working
us?
with
Yes.
the amateur expert, y'all, on helping her build Affirmed Armor. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Follow the page, Affirmed Armor. I heard there's something coming out this week. I heard
Uh-oh.
Friday
Uh-oh.
there's a
Uh-oh.
little heat dropping, but I'm just saying that's all I heard. That's what I heard through the grapevine. But listen, that I just enjoy helping people see their visions come to life. And as Ashley was saying, right now I have been freelancing, applying what I've learned through my graduate degree. So I got a graduate degree in marketing with a graduate certificate in brand and customer management. Um, but I dabble in a lot of little things, you know? So,
So I dabble in the things here and
as a
there.
Ween graduate, Ween teaches you to be very versatile, right? So I'm very in tune with the trend, so I can help you bring your vision to life. No, I'm kidding.
I just want you to know that that is going to be the soundbite that I use for this episode. Thank you. Um, no, but in all seriousness,
Yeah,
I want to thank you for doing the show, right? You are in a place of transition, but you also are um, helping so many people right now, right?
yeah.
And so I'm excited to have um, gone through the Wean program with you. I'm excited to see what's next for you. in LA because I'm claiming it. Um, but also, you know that I'm the amateur expert and I claim to know a little bit about a lot. So, my dear Raj, although you have
Ooh,
given us so much good info, I need a little tip. I need a fun fact. I need something, and I think it should be a marketing something.
wait a minute now. I didn't know we was gonna.
Okay, fine. It could be whatever,
Oh,
but
minute.
I may follow up with a second.
Uh, we could go into marketing and talk about that, but I'm trying to think about a little tidbit, a random something.
A fun
This is
fact,
hard.
like a marketing or branding something for Instagram or Facebook or a trend something. I don't know. Teach us something.
Teach the people them, huh?
The people that need something, and but only give us a taste. Right? I was gonna say only
Hey,
give us
right,
a
TT,
taste
right, right. She tried to.
because
So this is what we gonna do. This is what we gonna do. I'll give you a random travel fact.
okay,
Let's reel it in,
okay,
right?
all right, we'll
And
take it.
then we
I'll
could
take
we
it.
could do a little. If y'all really want to know some marketing stuff, we y'all can ask some questions in the comments, and I'll give the people them
Okay.
some free, little gems if they want
I
to.
like it. I like
Um,
it. I like it.
but let's see, a random travel fact. Oh, I know. So, because my family's Caribbean, I'll give you a little Caribbean history fact. And
Go.
Melissa, if you on this, sis, you can confirm it, right? So, St. Lucia is actually the only country named after a female.
Ooh,
That's what I heard, though. Don't quote
I
me on it, though, if it's not true.
I was like, no, but Raj
But
said, oh no, that's good. I one never even would have thought about that. Two, never would have guessed that was the one. That is amazing. Raj, round of
right?
applause.
See, sometimes the people don't even know what they need. You see,
Listen,
you
and
trying to get marketing, but
this is why you're my CMO because you just get me what I need when I need it, and it's always bomb. Raj, this has been amazing. No questions have come up, so
oh, y'all don't want to know nothing. Y'all can ask me anything
oh,
random.
here she go. Tiara has a question. How should one go about creating their aesthetic for Instagram?
Aesthetic. So, what I would say is what I tell my clients.
Me,
Um,
I am the client.
I am her. She is me.
Just kidding.
But I think before you even get to the point of aesthetics, like it's really digging deep to the core of what is it you're trying to accomplish, right? So if your messaging is there, going back to what I said before, in terms of just really being authentic, being genuine, people will resonate with the messaging and the visuals and the graphics and stuff like that is just all just little elements or just like think of
Mhm.
it as like first you need to know what the dish is. What is the meal you're trying to create? And the aesthetics and the Instagram and the Facebook strategy and all that are just seasonings, right? Because we season our food over here, okay?
Listen,
Um,
we are about the salt.
all about it, right? So first, out just before you even get to that, because a lot of people think marketing is social media marketing, and that's another thing. So with any product you're launching, a new brand, first dig deep with what is the core messaging, and that's so important right now because like the world has shifted where millennials and like Gen Z, like we see right through that. We see right through the surface level of these strategies. Like where people are no longer like people are not robots, right? As much as we're so digitally tuned in, people want to resonate with emotions and feelings and messaging. So as a product, as a brand, whatever you're doing, make sure your messaging is intact. And we see that right now with the climate, with coronavirus, everything. The companies that are successful are the ones that are actually being authentic and genuine, and that goes back to diversity and inclusion as well. We see all these DEI roles opening up, right?
Hmm.
So that should be, especially anyone like building out a company right now. Um, I would say don't you're at a you're at such like an amazing like crossroads right now. It seems like a crossroads, but like if you're launching a business or a product right now, you have the tools to do it the right way. A
Mm,
lot of these
that's good.
companies, a lot of these people that exist are adapting by doing damage control, but you have an empty canvas. So take away the whole traditional, like, my social media needs to be this way and this and this and this, and just dig deep. And like the same way you need to dig deep with yourself, like, what is my purpose? What is like I'm trying to do? Like, dig deep in terms of like, what is the purpose of this product and what is this product trying to do? What service? Going back to our conversation earlier, right? Like going in with an attitude of service. What
Yeah,
is this product? What is this brand doing for people? What need is it satisfying? And
I
start
love that.
there.
And one of the things, because I have one of those aesthetics where I have all things like in a row, and Raj mentioned very nicely that typically when someone is scrolling through Instagram, they're just going to like the photo and go. So it doesn't necessarily matter that you have the line, although it is aesthetically pleasing, it doesn't necessarily matter. Um, there was another question that came up. You mentioned COVID, so I'll pull it up because it's in the box. You see it there?
Mm-hmm.
COVID has changed
Okay.
the game. How has marketing changed in this new world?
So I will give him a little heat for this, my friend, but let me not. I feel like I pretty much going back to what I was saying, right? So COVID, I don't think it has changed the game. I just think COVID has exposed the wounds of the game. Um, for so long, traditional marketing has been, let me just put a band-aid on the problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? But what COVID, and not just COVID, we're seeing our current social climate is doing. Going back to my point of millennials and Gen Zs are very much more the generation that are like, we're going to put boots in the ground. Like, we're going to demand change, right?
Yep.
So we have seen what has happened is people are holding people accountable, or holding companies accountable. So the surface level, like, DEI should be in everything you do. DEI is not a role, it's not a trend that's happening right now, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion needs to be in every single thing you do, every product, every brand, doesn't matter what service you're doing on all
Mm-hmm.
levels. And that's not just, when we say DEI, we're not just talking like black and brown, more black and brown people. We're talking about it's bigger than that,
Yeah.
right? Society wants us to think like, for so long, traditional companies have just been like, okay, we have more black people and Hispanics and like, okay, but like, are you doing the work? What is the work being done? Um, and that's not just like, okay, you're just checking a box again, right?
Yep.
So traditionally, marketing, like marketers, companies will react towards certain things by creating a campaign. So,
I was gonna
oh,
say
there's this
Black
whole,
History
yeah,
Month,
like let's do a Black History
Heritage
Month
Month. Mm-hmm.
campaign, and let's do oh, like, we didn't mean to like put like all our models that were white, so let's launch another, or like, what was it? It was, oh, I forgot what company it was, but they did like the whole like like a lot of companies are doing this. Like when the beginning of COVID, we saw like when they were just like, hey, we're gonna put a black model, but it doesn't make
Oh,
sense, or just like things like that. I think like Fashion Nova, or maybe it was something else in the beginning, like a few months back, like just it was just a hot mess, y'all. But people are just adapting. They think by adapting to just like doing what people want to see. Going back
mm-hmm.
to, I think Tiara said it right. So aesthetics, like visually, that's what we want to see. But we don't just want to see it anymore. We want to know. We want to see the data. That's what we
Yeah,
want to see. We
for
don't want
sure.
to see the graphics. We want to see the data. That's where we're at. That's what COVID has shifted, right? COVID has allowed us to have a lot more consumer data than we have ever even knew existed, right?
Yeah.
So AI has allowed us for that. COVID is allowing for that, where we're also, consumer behaviors has shifted. So I think he said that like, what has shifted? Consumer behavior has shifted. So people, going back to what I was telling you, Ash, like when we're scrolling on Instagram, right? We have a lot of us are home. We're not necessarily going to, I can speak for myself, like, are we going to that page? Like, are we going to your profile? And I'm like, all right, this is a cute little profile. Like, you have one, this color scheme is cute. I'm just scrolling, like,
I'm double
just
tapping and
scrolling, double tapping,
going.
going, right? But what COVID has also done is consumer behavior has shifted to video content. So
Mhm.
I know I think someone asked something about like Instagram
Making it more
stories.
engaging. Yep. Kelly
Yeah,
asked,
engagement.
how can you make Instagram stories and blog posts more engaging?
So what I would say is the consumer behavior and not just consumer behavior, these tech companies and companies are shifting to video content.
Hmm.
So Instagram Reels, y'all, get on the wave because Instagram has shifted their algorithms to push that feature with everything with any company, right? If you have a new product, you're going to allocate more resources to push
Mm.
that, right? So Instagram launched a new product, Reels. Obviously, their algorithm is going to shift to push that. So people that are engaging with that content, that type of product, you'll see their engagement increase. And then
Gotcha.
with COVID, everybody became like videographers, right?
Oh, for sure.
Everybody's a director, everybody's a creative, and it doesn't even matter if you have 2 followers, you have a platform,
Yeah,
right?
that's so right. So right. And then
Trying to scroll to help you.
what do people get wrong when they think about, oh, I
Mm.
think, did you answer this already? Sort of, but not really.
Sort of. I think traditional. What was it? It was
What do people get wrong about traditional marketing?
um. So I guess like a lot of times people think of marketing is just to get like sales. Like obviously marketing is to increase sales, right? But I don't want to say like what people get wrong because I don't really like how that's phrased. I just think like similar to what you said, I did kind of answer it. Like traditional marketing has shifted to
Mhm.
now. Like now it's a whole different playing field. It's a whole different territory where and I think I see some marketing people tapping in. Uh, some of our marketing people they could talk more about this, how marketing has shifted, but it has shifted, right? And it has shifted because of AI. We have more consumer data and all these different things too. So now we're able to understand our consumers a lot better. So we could really, I think people think marketing used to be kind of like, how do I put this? Kind of like deceiving. I don't know if that makes
Mm,
sense. Like people used to like think marketing is like traditionally it's like, well, you're just trying to persuade me to do this. Like the
yep,
whole like pyramid scheme type, Ponzi type scheme, right? So it gets a
yeah,
negative stigma.
for
But
sure.
COVID it has shifted where you can use uh all this consumer data and everything, right? Going back to what I was saying before with pushing your core messaging, right? So if you know what your brand and product is trying to do, like that and it's trying to like have an impact, right? You're trying to
Yeah.
do something good. Then you could use all this information and allow marketing to work for you. Marketing shouldn't be like I think a lot of times people think of marketing is what needs to be like you need to do, but marketing should be a tool that's working for your brand, not your brand working through it. Yeah.
I love that. And so we are getting our eviction notice from the Gram. We have a minute and 45 seconds left. Raj, this has been amazing. You've taught the people a lot. You've taught me a lot. You've shared your story. You've inspired at least two people for sure that were on this live. And then when they go back to listen on the podcast, they are going to, everyone's learning something. So you have been successful, right? You have been successful. So
I
thank
hope
you.
so.
This has been a success. Now you know the drill. We have to be still
Right.
and smile for the still. All right, everyone, I hope that you have a great week. We will see you on Friday. I'll be going live by myself, I think, to talk about
Oh.
what? Affirmed
Affirmed armor. Let me
armor.
know. I could tap in. Yep, no.
My CMO, my
if
CMO will
if
be
y'all
tapping
want a
in.
after hour live with more marketing tips, let me know, y'all. I could
I
hop
think
back
we
right
might need to
on.
have a rah-rah take with some
Right. We might
marketing
have to
tips.
do a post Ash amateur expert with just a session of just asking advice. If y'all want that, let me know.
I
Ashley and I
think
can
that's
hop back on, right?
I think that's great. I think that's what we should do. So I will wrap this up and we will get started. We'll see you guys in a bit.
All right. Bye.
Bye.